Somebody in the last video comment section asked if anybody had any tips or advice on how to conduct client meetings. I think this is more specific to weddings, so I'm going to give it a shot today, and I'm going to talk about how I do things. Somebody like Jay Brannon out in Temecula, California is going to do them very different, not only because he's in a different market, but because he's got a very different personality than I do when it comes to this kind of stuff. And, you know, I have a meeting tonight on Zoom because we're in the middle of a pandemic, and video conferencing is our friend with this right now. But during normal times, what I like to do is hold these client meetings in places like Starbucks because they're neutral locations. If you have a storefront, that's great, but most don't. And having someone come to my home or having like a 20-something-year-old girl come into my basement might be a little creepy. So Starbucks is a nice neutral location. You can hang out as long as you want. You can loiter. You can pick a location between them and you to make it convenient for everybody. So now that you have a place to have a meeting, what do you talk about? Usually when I have my coffee in front of me and they have their coffee in front of them and we're sitting down, they'll say, "So tell us about yourself. What kind of equipment do you use? What do you charge?" They'll ask a lot of questions, and some of them are questions that somebody would ask when they don't really know what to ask. So they're trying to interview you for a job that they don't really know a whole lot about. What I'll do at that point is I'll say, "Look, I'm happy to answer any questions you have, but do you mind if I ask you some questions first?" Say, "Oh, sure." And then I'll start finding out about them and their event. So where are you getting married? And it might be on site, it might be at a church. Where's your reception going to be? Usually a hall. How many people are attending? Is it sit down or buffet? How many people will be giving toasts or speeches? All those kind of things. I go through a whole gamut of questions that are specific to their event. And with the answers that I get from them, I'm able to kind of structure something for them and put something together that makes sense in a timeline fashion. So let's say, for instance, they are having their reception at the Holiday Inn and the dinner starts at 6:30. They want me to start at 6, go to midnight. I can then say, "Look, how about I bring you in at 20 after 6 for a grand entrance? Have you cut the cake right away, and then your pastor does the prayer," if that's what they want. I ask them if they want prayer. Then you eat, and then after everyone has food in front of them, we start your speeches and toasts. And the reason that I suggest that to my clients in my market is because if I try to bring a client into a room at, let's say, 6 o'clock, and I've got 7 people that are going to be stepping up to the microphone to give toasts and speeches, I don't want anyone to feel rushed because dinner's happening at 6:30. I'd rather have everybody kind of sitting at their tables, having food in front of them, and there's really no time structure that they have to follow. They can go as long as they want, and whenever they're done, we can do that dessert because we already cut the cake when they came into the room. It's little things like that that I can help them out with. What I feel like that does is it tells them things about my personality. I don't have to sell myself like a politician. I don't like doing that. But what I am showing them, I feel, is that I'm competent to do the job. Now, when it comes to equipment, I think a lot of DJs like to talk about the gear they have or the speakers they have or the lights they have. I try to keep that to a minimum and only talk about what this stuff can do for them. So if sound systems come up, I have several different speakers and sound systems. I'll bring one that fits your venue. And what the system's going to do is create a nice full sound on the dance floor. So all the dancers are going to hear the music and feel the music. But anywhere off of the dance floor, people are going to be able to have conversations without screaming at each other. They appreciate that because they've been to events where the sub's been too big or the mid's been too harsh, and they found that the grandparents want to leave early because they can't have that conversation with Aunt Betty like they want to. So I don't do that. I create an environment where it sounds good, you can hear it nice and full, yet no one's competing for that mid-range frequency that the speakers put out to talk to each other. I don't get that in depth with it, but this is the kind of stuff that I talk about in general terms. if they ask, well, what about lighting? All I do is show them pictures. I have this stuff ready on my phone. Here, let me show you this. What do you think of that? Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, this is the kind of stuff I can do. We can make this any color. It's LED, so if kids touch it, they're not going to burn themselves. And I can show them, you know, different examples that I might have ready on my phone of things that might work well for them. They like that. The pictures say a lot. They say a lot more than I can just try to put into words. So just show them pictures. Videos are good too. Something else that comes up is music. And even if it doesn't come up, I might bring that up and talk about how the music that I get is from the same services that supplies radio stations. So it's FCC friendly, it's clean for content. You don't have to worry about dirty versions of songs. So if they wanted Cardi B's WAP for the grand entrance song, but they were concerned that grandma might be upset about this, no problem. I got a radio edit of that. We can play it and grandma's not mad. So yeah, that usually works pretty well for me. And I don't go into sales mode. I'm very casual. And most of the meetings that I have with clients, I'll land them. It's very rare that I don't. When I don't get a client, it's usually because I get the feeling in the meeting that they're looking for somebody to hard sell them on my services, and that is not my style. And you know, usually I can tell, you know, this is not going to work out. That is very rare. Most of the time with this particular style that I use, which is just transparent, asking them questions, works pretty well. And then when it's all said and done, you have a really good idea of what you're going to be doing at the event. Are you going to be providing ceremony music? Do you need to attend rehearsal? We talked about that in the last couple videos. What's going on at the reception? How many flaming hoops you're going to have to jump through? How much lighting you're going to have to bring? All that kind of neat stuff. And then you can structure a fair price for them. So that's how I do it. I hope this helps somebody. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section. I can expand on some of this stuff if you want me to. But that's it for now. We'll see you next time. I got to get ready for a meeting, and it's so noisy upstairs right now. So anyway, that's it. Practice and enjoy.